Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Yet another review, this time of Kingdom Come Deliverance. This game has been out exactly for 2 years now. I mean, it still feels as fresh as yesterday, I have to say. It's a very refreshing RPG. It came out in February 2018, and it really took the gaming community by storm, I think. And I guess it has a lot to do with the look and feel of the game. It's just so well designed. It's green, lush, muddy and rainy. Medieval world is just so impressive, and you can almost sort of smell the roses. You can almost taste the rain and the mud and the stench and all that sort of thing. It's really what you imagine a medieval Eastern European world would look like, with seemingly organic grown villages and various impressive castles and lots of attention to detail to make this world as alive as possible. And you will see villagers just roaming the streets and seemingly minding their own business, following their day and night routines, although the interiors of many of these structures and buildings in this game look pretty samey and recycled overall. That can be a little bit immersive. In this game you play Henry, the son of a smith, and he's a fantastic protagonist, I have to say. He's not a wannabe hero or dragonborn, but a regular bloke who lost everything in a raid on his village. And he is forced to sort of restart his life from scratch. And along the way you meet various interesting NPCs that are not very well voiced, by the way. The voice acting in this game, although quite good, but the voices sound muffled and sometimes hollow and metallic. And considering the fact that most of the game takes place in the outside world, that also feels a little bit unimmersive. But these NPCs, they give you quests, and you know what this means. Pretty much like in Witcher or Skyrim, you get to do the familiar fetch quests. You get to go somewhere, pick something up, bring something back. But in the context of the main story, it does make sense, since Henry has to make a name for himself, and slowly you get better quests, and some of the side quests are actually inspired by actual historic events, which is really cool. And also, you can have various approaches to various quests, different things you can try out, whether to use combat or just try and resolve a situation purely by dialogue. So there is a lot of freedom here, and you can go murdering around lots of people, but there will be consequences and you'll be put in jail and that sort of thing. So you travel around Bohemia, because that's the name of the place, usually on horse, but the horseback riding is such a pain in the ass. I mean, really, every little bush in this game is like an obstacle that will bring your horse to an abrupt halt. It's so awful. It's just the worst horseback riding in any game I can remember. So Bohemia is a very dangerous place, and many a time it requires combat. Now, on one hand, I have to say that the sword fighting in this game is quite tactical, as it relies on stamina management, so you just can't go hacking and slashing your way through numbers of enemies. You need to block and try and evade and time your swings right, or your mace or your sword, whatever you prefer. But on the other hand, the combat also feels kind of slow, sort of floaty, and kind of random. You never get the idea that you get any better at it. So most of the time I just didn't know what I was doing, but maybe you have a better experience with the combat. I don't know, but I mean, it's just a bit random, as I said. Although it is in your face and somewhat brutal to look at, but sometimes I just tease the enemy by just taking out my bow and arrow and just start shooting arrows at the enemies, which works fine, by the way. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but you can just kill loads and loads of enemies with just shooting arrows at them. So yeah, but I do appreciate the fact that they opted for a different kind of combat system, something different than in Skyrim or other games. What's great also is that in this game, as you're doing things, you get better at it. So archery, if you do a lot of archery, you get better at it. You unlock more perks for extra bonuses, buffs and whatnot. What's also great is that most of these perks have advantages, but also disadvantages. So you gotta have to choose wisely. But it does feel organic, the way you sort of progress through this game. But one of the things I did not really like about the game is the loot. Because, for instance, I was at level 15 and I had like 15,000 gold pieces in my pocket, and I already found like this amazing armor and sword. So there was really no intention or incentive, I have to say, to keep looting bodies and chests and so forth, because I had stuff that was way better. And even almost 2 years or so after the release of this game still has glitches, and you'll see characters sort of freeze in their animations, and you'll see NPCs clipping into one another. There's a lot of pop-up in this game, so it's still not very optimized. But despite its shortcomings, this is really a very impressive game. Like the worlds, that's very immersive, and the story and the questing, it's really excellent. Although I did not really like the combat very much. Again, I do respect the developers trying something different with combat in an RPG. So overall, I do recommend this game, and I really hope that their next game, or maybe there's going to be a sequel to this one, will have better combat, or at least combat that makes a little bit more sense and feels less random. So I guess that's basically what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Excellent, but not brilliant. So thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.